Hello and welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy, where your dreams are our mission. This is Yatharth here. In the last lecture, we took a brief look actually, at the Western Ghats. But what we did not deal with are the individual mountain ranges. We saw the geographical extent, we saw the rivers, the east and west flowing rivers. We saw the general wildlife and flora and the geographical extent basically. But we did not see the individual mountain ranges state by state. Let's say which state or Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Goa, Kerala. So which states have which mountain ranges, which is the highest peak and so on. In general, we just saw that Danaimudi is highest peak in the Western Ghat, in the Kerala. Alright, so we need to see more, and that we'll deal in a separate lecture. I'll make a separate short lecture about the mountain ranges and peaks of the Western Ghat. Mountain ranges and the peaks of the, or important peaks of the Western Ghats. So that we'll deal with in separate lecture. In this lecture, we'll be dealing with an issue, an environmental issue, and which is a part of the bigger issue known as the global warming or climate change. Alright, so this has caused multiple effects in India as well. Somewhere it has caused flooding, somewhere it has caused dry weather, somewhere it has caused mountain fires or wildfires. Alright, so recently this issue has come into highlight that Western Ghats is being grappled by the forest fires. So let us see why, what is the reason. We'll also be focusing on this year being an El Nino year. So how this has affected our country. So let's talk about the forest fires first. So they have been raging the Kunnur forest range. Kunnur forest is in Kerala. There are two cities, Kunnur and Kannur. One is in Tamil Nadu and one is in Kerala. So in the Nilgiris in Tamil Nadu. So this Kannur is one in Tamil Nadu actually. Alright, Kannur is in Kerala. So the Indian Air Force conducted multiple Bambi bucket. This can be asked in prelims. That what is Bambi bucket? Or in which natural disaster Bambi bucket operations help. So Bambi bucket operations, they dumped some 16,000 liters of water on the fires. The Bambi bucket, also called a helicopter bucket or heli bucket, is a specialized container that is supposed by a cable under a chopper. What happens basically, I'll tell you. This is, let's say, helicopter. So there will be a large bucket. Alright, the helicopter will lower the altitude and it will go in a pond, fill water, come up again. Alright, and then dislodge this water on a forest fire. Alright, this is known as the Bambi bucket. So please know about this Bambi bucket. It can be asked. So this can be filled by lowering the into a river or pond before being flown above a fire and discharge aerially by opening a valve at the bottom of the bucket. Alright, so what we'll do basically, let's say we'll just open this valve here and the water will come down. Alright, so how common are forest fires in India? If we see on a national level, so how common are they? So November to June is considered to be the forest fire season in India. Please remember these months as well. Alright, November to June. It's also talking about the December, January, February. Now we will think that this is the area of the winters. So how can there be forest fire in winter? It goes against the common sense. Alright. So with hundreds of thousands of small and large fires burning every year, especially from February onward as the summer approaches. Alright, but the season it was November to June. April, May are usually the worst fire months across the country. Because these both things deal with the deciduous forest, the trees are dry, the leaves are shed, and there is more biomass available on the ground for burning. Alright, there are more leaves, dry leaves available for the burning. So this is why this season is the worst, November to June. and April, May especially are the worst. So the biennial Indian State of Forest Report (ISFR) published by the Forest Survey of India under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change recorded its 2019 report that more than this data is important. 36% of India's forest cover was prone to frequent fires. All right. Now, are fires necessarily bad for forest? They are not. All right. Fires are not necessarily bad until they are natural, first of all, and they stop by themselves. All right, there are many forests in the world which are very resilient to forest fires. All right, so this can also be in our data set for the exam. About 4% of the forest cover was extremely prone to fire, and another 6% was very highly fire prone. Globally, about 3% of the total forest area were affected by fires in the year 2015, mostly in the tropical regions. So, can we say that fires or the forest fires are more common in tropical region than other regions? So, this statement is true. This statement is true. All right. Now, where do most of the fires in India occur? This can also be directly asked in prelims. This is the basic knowledge we must have. Okay, so according to the FSI, severe fire break out in the dry deciduous forest, not in the tropical forests. One thing we see that fires are more common in the tropical areas, but not in the tropical trees or tropical forest. They are more common in the dry deciduous forest. So already it has been asked in prelims last year. This year may be asked. So while evergreen, semi-evergreen and mountain temperate forest are comparatively less prone to fires. So now what we saw in the last lecture, that the steeper gradient of the Western Ghats, all right, it has mountain forests. Then there is evergreen and semi-evergreen forest in this region, complete region. So how then they are being prone to the forest fires? What is the reason here? All right. So are forest fire in South India unusual? So according to FSI, forests in South India are comparatively less vulnerable. Why? Because they are evergreen or semi-evergreen. Only the eastern end of the Western Ghats, which has a less steeper gradient, all right, this has some wet or moist deciduous forest. They are also not dry deciduous, okay, but still they are prone to forest fires. So that said, Tamil Nadu has been reporting wildfires in forest in recent years. Why? All right, it's talking about the recent years. That means it is an annual phenomena which is happening multiple years. Now, what is the reason for this forest fire, at least this year? So, a majority of forest fire result of human carelessness. All right, let's say 60 to 70%. So, like discarded cigarettes, campfires, burning of debris, and similar other processes. Amongst natural causes, lightning is the most common originator. Forest fire need a conductive atmosphere to spread. All right, the cause does not matter a lot. What matters is conduction. All right, there has to be biomass available, dry biomass, which is not resilient to burning. There has to be dryness. All right, there has to be temperature. All these three factors can cause the conductive fire. All right. So hot and dry temperatures and high tree density are some of the factors that help the spread of forest fire. Let us see this year, high aridity, above normal day temperatures, clear sky conditions, and calm winds during the early phase of the summer seasons are some of the contributory factors for the spike in forest fire. So what we see, high aridity, that means high dryness, above normal day temperature, that means temperature are high, and clear sky condition, that means there is no rain, no wetness, and calm winds, so there is not much wind during the early phase of the summer. So they are the contributory factors. So this can also be asked in the prelims as a statement, that which are these contributory factor to forest fires. So please take care about the calm winds. All right. So last month was exceptionally hot over the southern India in particular. This February was South India's hottest since 1901. All right. So we are talking about at least 100 years. So in 100 years, the February was hottest this year, and the January was the fifth warmest in more than a century. As a result, there has been an early availability of dry biomass in these forests since the winter season itself. All right, the IMD has warned of the prevalence of excess heat factor. Okay, EHF. What is this EHF? You should learn a value that predicts the chances of heat wave over a region. to be significantly higher than the normal over western Andhra Pradesh and neighboring Karnataka. In the absence of rain and prevailing high temperatures, the IMD has classified almost all districts of southern India under mild aridity. Alright, so how to make a mind map of this lecture very quickly? Just a second. Okay, so let's talk about the mind map. So what we are dealing with, the area. Area is the Western Ghats. And what area in the Western Ghats we are talking about? The Tamil Nadu area. This area here. Alright, in the Kannur. We are not talking about this whole area. Alright, this specific area. Furthermore, let us see what type of vegetation is here. Alright. And what we see is how common this phenomena is globally. So only 3 to 4%. How common it is nationally? So nationally it is very high. Nationally it is very high, over 60% of. Alright. So what we see that what type of vegetation is more pervious to this, then we see the dry deciduous. Dry deciduous. Which season is more harmful for the forest fires, let's say, or towards the forest fire? Then it is November to June. Alright, and most forest fires in April and May. And what are the contributing factors? Contributing factors are dry wind, calm winds, more temperature, availability of the biomass. And what we can say that the reasons causing it is more anthropogenic than natural. We also should take care that it is happening more in the tropical areas than other areas of the world, but not in tropical forests than other forests or other type of vegetation. Alright, so in simple way we can make a mind map like this in a single page note, and that will help you go through. Alright, thank you very much. We'll have more topics in the next lecture. This is Yatharth here signing off. See you again.